Hello friends, welcome to Learner's Planet. Friends, this is our third session for simple and compound interest. In the previous two sessions, we have discussed the basic terminologies related to the topic, and we have also done some problems based on simple interest. In this session, we are going to take some more problems of simple interest, and I'll be introducing you to compound interest also. So we'll be taking more problems on compound interest even. So let's begin the session. I hope you might have revised the previous two sessions before coming to this session. So let's start. Now let's try the sum. A sum of rupees 2500 is lent out in two parts, one at 12% and another one at 12.5%. If the total income is 306, the money lent at 12% is what? Friends, we have already solved this sort of problems. It can be very well solved with the use of alligation and mixture pattern. Okay. And I'm sure you will be clear about the topic. If you are not clear, do attend the session of allegations and mixtures. Okay. Now, in this case, there are two types of rates, that is 12% and 12.5%. Okay. Now I assume the entire amount is lent on 12%. Then what will be the interest on 2500? That is 12% of 2500, that is 300 rupees. Now, in the other case, I assume that the entire amount is lent on 12.5%. Okay. So what 12.5% of 2500? That is 312 rupees 50 paisa. Now, the actual interest income is somewhere between, that is 306. So that will give us the ratio of these two amounts. Okay. So it's 306 minus 300 is 6 rupees, and 312.50 minus 306 is 6.5 rupees, or we can say 6.5 rupees. Okay. Now we can find out the ratio of these two. It's 13 by 2 is to 6, or we can say 13 is to 12. That is 1300 and 1200. Okay, so the amount lent at 12% is 1300. 12% is 12.5%. You just have to cross subtract. So this is a method of alligation. I hope you are clear. Now let's see this problem. Rupees 800 amounts to rupees 920 in 3 years at simple interest. If the interest rate is increased by 3%, it would amount to. Friends, I would suggest over here you try the problem on your own and then match your answer and solution with mine. And you can solve this problem without any paperwork if you have attended the previous two sessions carefully. Okay, so just a simple thing, rupees 800 we are starting with, and in 3 years the amount is getting to be 920. That means in 3 years 120 rupees are added. Okay, so in 3 years if 120 rupees are being added, that means 40 rupees per annum is being added to the principal. Okay, since we have already discussed that simple interest remains same for each year, that means 40 rupees is being added every year. Now on 800, 40 rupees is 5% of 800, isn't it? So as simple as that, the rate of simple interest is 5%. Okay, that was the initial. Now if the rate is increased by 3%, that means the new rate is 5% plus 3%, that is 8%. Now 8% per annum is added to 800, so that is 64 rupees per annum we are adding. Now if 64 rupees per annum we are adding, then that means 64 rupees for 3 years plus 800 will be our answer, isn't it? So 64 into 3 will be, that comes to 992. Okay, so the problem can be solved mentally, isn't it? I hope you are clear and your answer and solution is matching with mine also. Now let's try this question. The simple interest on a sum of money will be rupees 600 after 10 years. If the principal is tripled after 5 years, what will be the total interest at the end of 10 years? Quite simple problem, friends. Further, you can solve this problem without use of paper and pen. Just a simple concept. A simple interest will be 600 after 10 years. That means for 5 years, it will be 300 rupees only. Okay, now if we talk about another 5 years, because the principal is now getting tripled, that means the interest will also be tripled. Now for next 5 years, the interest accrued was 300, but now principal is tripled, so interest will also be tripled. So it will be 900 now. Instead of 300, it will be 3 times of 300. Okay, so in all 900 plus 300, 1200 will be the total interest if this is the scene. Okay, so no paperwork is required at all. Now let's solve this problem. Try it on your own. The simple interest on a sum of money at 8% per annum for 6 years is half the sum. Now what is the sum? Now suppose the sum is P. Rate of interest is 8 and time is 6 by 100 is simple interest. That is half of principal, that is P by 2. Now we are having P over here, we are having P over here. So both of them will get cancelled. Okay, so left hand side and right hand side, we do not have any variable of which we have to find out the value. So simply data inadequate. Okay, you don't have to worry much about the problem. You cannot solve it. Okay, I hope you are clear. Now, let's take a problem based on compound interest now. CI on a certain sum for 2 years at 5% per annum is rupees 164. Then we have to find out the sum. Friends, we have already discussed about the concept of compound interest. It is interest on interest. So I just make a quick recap over here. If any amount is borrowed from any person or maybe any financial organization or from bank, if you do not repay the interest after a certain period of time, maybe suppose after an year, so if you do not repay the interest, then for the next year onwards, your interest is also added to the principal and you are bound to pay the interest on interest portion also. And in all, this is called as compound interest. Okay. So there is a difference between simple interest and compound interest, but you have to be careful that for the first year, if the interest are charged per annum, that means for the first year, simple interest and compound interest, both of them will be same. So whatever the difference between these two is coming, it is from the second year onwards. Okay, because interest on interest will be charged after 1 year. Okay, now what is the formula for compound interest amount? Amount in case of compound interest is equal to P 1 plus R by 100 raised to E. Okay, so you just have to put up the value of the data and have to get the answer. And this is the amount. If you deduct principal from it, you will be getting the interest. Okay, so this is amount and minus P. From this you'll be getting the compound interest. Okay, so in this particular question, if we talk about we are given the compound interest portion, that means we have to use this formula. So it's 164 is equal to principal, we have to find out 1 plus R is over here 5%, that is 5 by 100, or we can say 1 by 20, and time is 2 years minus P. Okay, so it is 164 is equal to P into its 20 plus 1, 21 by 20 into 21 by 20 minus P. Okay, so it's 441P minus 400P over 400 is 164, or I can say 41P is equal to 164 into 400. So P is equal to 1600. Okay, that is the principal, or we had to find the sum, and that sum is 1600. I hope you are clear. So this is 1600. Okay, alternatively you can try this problem if you do this mentally. I just tell you how to do it. Friends, just listen to me very carefully because it is an important concept over here. See, for 2 years the rate of interest is 5% per annum. That means that for 2 years the total interest will be charged on the principal will be 10%. Okay. Now if we talk about compound interest, the overall interest will be bit higher than 10%, very bit higher. Okay, because 5% simple interest for first year, then second year 5% further, and 5% on the interest accrued. So it will be bit higher than the 10%. Okay, now if you look at the option, we have to get this 164 rupees if we add bit 10% to the principal. That means bit higher than 10%. So just we try to get an approximate idea of the answer. Suppose I take 1600. So 10% of 1600 will be 160. Okay, but we have to add up bit higher than 10% to it. Okay, so we will be getting 164. So approximate answer is 1600. That is correct. Okay, now just if we have to be very sure of it, you just add 5%, that is 80, and again 5%, that is 80. Now 5% of 80 should also be added, that is interest on interest. So this is interest for first year, this is interest for second year, and on the second year's interest, in the second year's interest, add 5% of first year's interest. That is 5% of 80, that is 4 rupees. So in all we are getting 164. Okay, so if you do the problem with this approach, you won't be doing any sort of paperwork. You can do the problem mentally. Okay, but for that you need to be conceptually clear. Friends, now let's try to derive an expression for SI and CI is different. That means we try to derive an expression that is CI minus SI for 2 years, because this concept, problems based on this concept come very frequently in various entrance examination. Okay, now how do we derive that? First of all, let's learn to derive, then finally you can learn the answer as well. Okay, so simple interest on any amount, CP, rate of interest is R, and time is T. So simple interest when the T time is 1 year will be what? I assume it to be SI, that is P into R by 100, since time is 1 year. Okay, so T will be 1 only. Now in the next case we take CI, and CI start after completion of 1 year. For the second year onwards there is a difference between CI and SI. So let's assume compound interest we have to find out after 2 years. Okay, so after 2 years the total amount, the total interest that will occur is this amount, that is PR by 100 for 1 year, plus interest on interest, that is, suppose this is the principal for the second year. Okay, because as I have already discussed that interest on interest is also charged, so on this interest we have to pay the interest. So this is, I assume this to be principal, so this is principal into rate into time will be for the 1 year, because we are talking in the second year only, so the duration of second year will be 1 year only, so it's 1 by 100. So this is simple interest on any amount, that is P for 1 year. Okay, plus this is interest on interest. Okay, I hope you are getting me. So it's P R by 100 plus P R square by 100 square. So this is CI. Now suppose I have to find out the difference between SI and CI for 2 years. So what I'll be doing, SI, CI minus SI for 2 years is this expression minus this expressions. So what I will be getting, PR square by 100 square. Okay, so this is the result that you can like remember, so you can directly solve the problems. Else you can do it like this way only, and definitely if we apply common sense and if we just try to solve problems mentally, go by backward approach, then also we can do it. Okay, I further explain it once again. Simple interest is for 1 year PRT by 100. So it's PR by 100 as T will be 1. For the second year, the total interest will be interest on the principal, that is simple interest, plus interest on interest. In the second year, this interest will be treated as principal's part, and on that particular interest, further the interest will be charged. So this is simple interest plus this is interest on interest. So in all, compound interest will be simple interest plus interest on interest. Okay. So this is the compound interest at the end of 2 years. Okay. Now if we talk about the difference of compound interest and simple interest for 2 years, so that will be compound interest minus simple interest for 2 years. That will be this expression minus this expression, that is PR square by 100 square. Now let's do one or two problems based on that with various approaches, so you'll be cleared. Now let's try this sum based on the formula that we have just derived. Simple interest and compound interest for 2 years is 50 and 51 respectively. Find the sum. Okay, we have just derived that the difference of CI and SI for 2 years will be PR square by 100 square. Okay, now if PR square by 100 square is 1 and simple interest for 2 years it is rupees 50, so that means for 1 year it will be rupees 25. So 25 is equal to P into R by 100 since T is 1. So P into R is 2500. Okay, here PR square we are given. So PR into R is equal to 100 into 100 and PR is 2500. So R will be 4%. Okay, now if R is 4%, we can calculate the value of principal. I just put R over here as 4, so it's 425. So principal will be 25 into 25, that is 625. I hope you are clear. Now let's try this sum. A sum of money placed at compound interest doubles itself in 4 years. In how many years will it amount to 8 times itself? The formula for amount in the case of compound interest is A is equal to principal 1 plus R by 100 raised to T, where T is the tenure. And in this case, it is number of years. Okay. So amount is getting doubled after 4 years. So I just write 2P over here since the principal is P and it is getting doubled after 4 years. So it's 1 plus R by 100 raised to 4. So we got an equation that is 1 plus R by 100 raised to 4 is 2. Now we have to find out in how many years will the amount be 8 times of itself. Now principal is P, the amount to be 8P, that is P 1 plus R by 100 raised to T, that T we have to find out, and this is this. So 1 plus R by 100 raised to T is equal to 8 and 1 plus R by 100 raised to 4 is equal to 2. Now we can divide this and just hold on. Or what I can do is it's 1 plus R by 100 raised to T is, this is 2 and this is 2 cube. So it will be, I suppose I cube both the sides, so it will be like this. Okay, so 8 will be 1 plus R by 100 raised to 12. So definitely T will be 12 years. Okay, so we got the answer. Alternatively, what you can do is, just listen to me carefully. Since compound interest is very easy to calculate, if the amount is getting 4 times in, amount is getting 2 times, suppose the principal is P, so amount is getting 2 times in 4 years, it's years. So in 8 years, it will be further double of it, that is 4 times. Okay, in further 4 years, it is further double of the previous amount, that is 8 times. Okay, so it's from starting, it is 4 years, then 8 years, then further 4 years. I can write it further 4 years, that is 12 years. So in 4 years, it is getting double. In further 4 years, it is getting double of it. and in further 4 years it is getting double of it. So initially from P we started and we are reaching 8P, that is the amount is getting 8 times of itself in 12 years. Okay, so if you think like this, you don't have to go for any sort of paperwork, and the derivation of the same I have showed you just now. I hope you are clear. Now friends, let's take this problem. In this question, we have to find out the compound interest on a particular amount. Okay, now let's say compound interest is principal 1 plus r by 100 raised to t minus 1. Okay, now what we have to do, we just have to put up the values in this formula and get the answer. So let's put up the value. It's 1600. 1 plus r is 4 3s are 12 plus 3, 15 by 4. Now if I put the value of r as 15 by 4, I'll be getting 15 by 400 raised to 2 minus 1. So I'm just writing each and every step, but you don't have to write. After some practice, you don't have to write each and every step. But for the first time, I'm doing this problem before you. So I'm just writing down each and every step. Now it is 415 and that too square. So 415 into 415, and if I take LCM, so I'll be getting 400 square this side. Okay, and it's 400 into 400. Now what is happening? It's 4 and it's 100. Okay, now it's a square minus b square format. So it will be a minus b into a plus b. So what a minus b? It's 415 minus 400, that is 15. And what a plus b is, it's 415 plus 400, that is 815 by 100. Now we have to do this calculation. Now we have to multiply 815 and 15 and divide it by 100. So doesn't matter if we divide it by 100 or not, because we just have to put the decimals in the calculation. Okay, so what we do is we multiply 15 into 815. Now definitely it may take some time if you multiply these two data. So what you can do, you can use digital root concept. I'll just explain it once again, though I have explained the same in the basic sessions. So you should revise the concept. Here I just go for a quick recap. Wait a moment. So what I have to do, 15 into 815, I will try to find out the digital root of this product. It's 5 plus 1, 6 into, it's 8 plus 1, 9 plus 5, 14, that is 5. And 6 into 5, 30, and the digital root is 3. Okay. If you add anything in 9, the digital root will be same. So if you add 9 or not doesn't matter. Okay, so we are getting 5 over here, and if it is multiplication sign over here, we just have to multiply the digital roots of individual numbers. Okay, so in all we are getting 3. Now whenever the sum of all the digits is 3, that will be our answer. Okay, now let's try to do it one by one. And we don't count decimal over here because we have to divide the calculation by 100. That will put 2 decimal from the units place. So we are not going to calculate the decimals. Okay, here let's see. 2 plus 2 4 and 1 5, 6 7, 7 plus 5 12. The digital root is 3 over here. And we have to be very careful that and none of the other numbers should get the same digital root, because we are not actually multiplying the things. Okay, now here 6, 7, 8, 9 plus 5, 14, 15, 16. So digital root is 7. It is discarded. Now this is 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 5, 13. Digital root is 4. 8, 9, 10, 11 plus 2, 13. 13 plus 5, 18. The digital root is 9. So we are getting digital root 3 as only in this case. So this will be the correct choice. Okay. Apart from that, you can get an approximate idea also. Now, how do we do that? Though we have finalized the answer as this, but what I'm going to discuss is in further an alternative method. The first method was you can multiply 15 and 815. Okay. The second thing is you can find out the digital root of this and can match with the options. And the third thing is you just get an around idea of the answer. Okay. Just wait a moment. Since we have to multiply 815 to 15, so it will be 8150 plus half of that, that is 407. 41 to 7s are 14, 1, 5 point something. Okay, so that will give you 5, 2, 2, 2. Okay, so 1225, that is this answer. Okay, so you can take any method, doesn't matter. Okay, so whichever the method is coming in your mind for the first time, that will be the best, because if you take long time to think of a shortcut, that will be rather ridiculous. Okay, so I hope you are clear. Now let's see this problem. A certain sum of money amounts to rupees 39,930 in 3 years at 10% per annum compound interest. What is the sum? Now friends, whenever this sort of problems come in examination, we just start solving without thinking anything else. Okay. What happens in this procedure, we just in this way we just waste the time, because if we start solving this sort of problem, it will definitely take our 2-3 minutes, which is not advisable, because time is a big constant in all the competitive examinations. So what I suggest, we just try to get some idea or some raw idea of the problem, okay, of the even of the datas. Now the amount is getting this in 3 years at 10% per annum. That means if we do not consider compound interest, even if we just consider simple interest, definitely compound interest amount will be more than simple interest. But suppose if we just consider the simple interest, so 10% per annum will be 30% for 3 years, isn't it? 30% for 3 years. Now, just look at the option. If we add 30% of this into the in this, what is the amount that we are getting? Okay. At this, I am taking simple interest. Just mind it. This is I am taking simple interest. The amount of compound interest will be more than that. So if I add 30% of 30,000 in 30,000, that will be something around 9,000. So the amount will be around 39,000. Okay, 30,000 plus 30% of it, that is 39,000, and our required amount or the given amount is around that only. Okay, so only this will be the correct option, because we have taken 30% as simple interest. The portion of compound interest is pending, so that will be around something 930 rupees. Okay, so we are clear that this option is correct. Now let's see about the other options. If we just add 30% of 36,000 in it, that will be around 10,800. So the amount will touch 46,000 around, and our amount is 39,000 only. So it is not the correct option. If it is not correct, it cannot be and it cannot be, because these options are much bigger than this. Okay, so 30,000 is the only option left with us, which is correct one. So we didn't do any sort of paperwork. It's simple problem if you think logically. I hope you are clear. Now, once again, we have a problem based on compound interest. In how many years will the rupees 2,000 amount to 2,400 at 10% per annum compound interest? Now, further, let's try to do the problem mentally. 10% is the interest rate. So for first year, the 10% of this will be 200. So the amount for the next year is 2,200. Now further 2,200 on 2,200, if I add 10% of it, that will be 220. So it's 0 to 2420. Okay, so we got 2420. That to 20%, that means 10% for the first year and 10% for the second year. That is 2 years only. Okay, so no paperwork is required at all. Friends, I hope you might have enjoyed this session. We will be taking more problems based on simple and compound interest in our next session. But do revise this session and all the concepts that we have discussed in this session, so you'll be better prepared in the next session. Bye-bye.